All right. Choi Gichul stood up. I'm very busy, so goodbye. He looked angry. Woosung grinned after he left. Woosung arranged a meeting for his managers at work. Jang Guangchul and Park Byung-ki also showed up. So Vice President Park, I need you to lead the deal with Daeyoung. I know you have much more experience than me in dealing with that company. Park Byung-ki nodded. That's true. Daeyoung is the worst. Even though they are the seller, they expect the buyers to feel grateful. They also raise their prices frequently and make mistakes on purpose. I went through a lot of issues with them. In the end, we tried to purchase from other companies as much as possible. I would advise you to do the same. I agree. I will be purchasing only minimal orders at the lowest cost. Jang Guangchul asked, then why bother dealing with them at all? That was true, but it was personal for Kang Woosung. I just would like to be acquainted with Daeyoung for the future. It's smart to know your competition and what parts they use for their own phone. Jang Guangchul couldn't quite understand, but he nodded anyway. When Woosung got home, he turned on his computer and opened the folder that held the information he collected on Daeyoung. He opened the subfolder on Choi Gichul and added more information. He appears to fear Choi Jae-tae. He shows passivity and negativity when he is working on anything that involves Choi Jae-tae. Need to find out why his personality changed. Woosung then opened the folder named Choi Jae-tae. He added a few lines. Owns a mansion at XXX 1 Hanamdong. He is having affairs with actress Kim Hee-soo, Lee Min-ji, Young Hyeji, and a new idol Lala. Hired many bodyguards. Awkward relationship with Young Jin-sup. Woosung leaned back on his chair and thought. Choi Jae-tae and Choi Gichul. They were the business princes of Korea and they were ruthless. It's not going to be easy to deal with them. Choi Jae-tae was a cruel man. During the party last night, he showed a very harsh side. He slapped a woman for making a mistake with the drinks. He threw a glass at the wall. He was a typical rich brat. Choi Gichul didn't show any emotion when Choi Jae-tae acted in such a violent manner. He seemed used to it. Woosung wasn't worried though. He wasn't the old Woosung who was a nobody anymore. He was the CEO of a rising company. He was in a position to buy products from Daeyoung. He came a long way. Woosung felt proud of himself. June 25th. A one-on-one talk with top star Lee Ari. Only on Coconut Talk. The marketing for Coconut Talk began on TV ads and the internet. Already in the iPhone App Store, it was the second most popular app in the social network category. However, in Korea, it was still not well known. Compared to MSN, it was nothing. This was an expected situation. After the commercials with Lee Ari, however, things started to pick up. Korea 10211. Korea 10525. Korea 11119. Every time the site was refreshed, the number of users increased. In addition, the app was a success in the Korean government. The workers gave great reviews. Korea 14219. Korea 18219. Korea 25219. It was now time for the special talk event with Lee Ari. 20,000 users. 30,000 users. 50,000 users. This was the power of Lee Ari. More and more people signed up to have a chance to chat with her. While she messaged with her fans, Lee Ari wondered. How could he forget where the meeting was? How? Why? She couldn't understand. She was a top star. There were people lining up to have a glimpse of her. Yet he forgot where the meeting was taking place. How? While deep in thought, one of her fans messaged her. I love you so much. You're so beautiful and talented. I especially liked it when you had a bang. Lee Ari answered kindly. Thank you. I will let my stylist know. Huh, by the way, what's your type? Oh, my type. Who? Lee Ari never thought about it seriously. On an interview, you mentioned Kam Sung-min. You aren't dating him now, are you? No. Lee Ari shook her head. One name popped up in her head, but she denied it. I'm only your fan, so I have no right to get involved, but I really think you would look great with the group Big Ones. Park Jae-won. The fan clearly wanted to continue the chat, but the conversation was terminated abruptly. This was a special event for everyone. The goal was for Lee Ari to chat with as many fans as possible. The amount of time a fan could have with her was limited. Time over. You have been disconnected. The next fan in line messaged Lee Ari. While Lee Ari worked, Woosung and Yoon Gi-won talked among themselves. The other two from Daesan were also sitting nearby. When are you going to be done with that algorithm you promised? Woosung scratched his head. Oh, haha. I've been really busy lately. I am working on it. As I said before, it will also be used by the National Pension Department, so I will get to it as soon as possible. You are taking too long. We are getting impatient. While Woosung smiled awkwardly, Park Jun-woo brought out a laptop and connected it to the beam. Yoon Gi-won continued. We couldn't just sit around, so we prepared something. As we promised before, we are working on the high-frequency trading architecture. Woosung nodded. On the screen, the Excel program started showing various graphs and tables. You said we could test it any way we want with $1 million, so we did. Mokdong IDC. Quote confirmation, 0.00021 seconds. Market order confirmation, 0.00027 seconds. Yoon Gi-won's house. Quote confirmation, 0.00041 seconds. Market order confirmation, 0.00152 seconds. Office. Quote confirmation, 0.00031 seconds. Market order confirmation, 0.00093 seconds. Yoon Gi-won explained as he pointed at different parts on the screen. It was clear the IDC from Nuri was the fastest. So we thought, how can we make the most money using this? To be honest, we thought about doing something unethical, like driving up the price with fake orders and then selling the stocks we own at a higher price. This was a possibility, but it could cause problems in the future. Yoon Gi-won continued, but we all agreed that this was immoral, so we continued to think. What do we have that we can use? Woosung answered, winning stock recommendation algorithm. That's right. We decided to combine the three. The IDC, high-frequency trading algorithm, and the winning stock recommendation algorithm. We named it real-time winning stock recommendation algorithm. Yoon Gi-won took a sip of water and continued. Park Jun-woo is going to now take over the presentation. Jun-woo worked very hard on this, so you better give him a good bonus later. If it makes good profits, I will make sure you get a huge incentive. Woosung's original algorithm analyzed the past data and provided a rough prediction. Because it didn't analyze in real time, it couldn't provide an estimated time of when the stock would rise. What Park Jun-woo added to this system was the real-time component. It filtered Woosung's algorithm's recommendation once more to narrow the list down. I created it so it focuses on small increases, but with our speed, we can complete many transactions. For example, even if there is a profit of 10 cents, if we can carry out 10,000 transactions, it could be a profit of $1,000. That's brilliant, and what about in America? Even in the US, we were able to see 3% profit daily for the last month. Park Jun-woo looked proud. 3% per day meant 300% profit in a year. Woosung ordered, then let's invest $50 million in the Korean market and $50 million in the US. Our goal will be $500 million by the end of this year. Yoon Gi-won's eyes widened as he stared at Woosung. If they were successful, the three of them could make a huge bonus. Woosung continued. As I told you guys before, I am willing to pay high salaries. I am ready to support you in any way, so make me a big profit and you will get rich too. After everyone left, Woosung switched his computer open and transferred $50 million each to the two accounts used for algorithm trading. He didn't look too closely at Park Junhwa's product, but based on the test results, Woosung thought he could trust it. In the past, he would have checked every little component of it, but now, he didn't have the time for it. He had to learn how to delegate tasks to his employees. Woosung checked the coconut service status again. Over 50,000 users were registered. It was definitely a big success. He couldn't be satisfied yet though. Woosung went to see Hong Soo-bum and Jang Guangchul. Do you remember what I said before? There were a lot of things Woosung said in the past. They looked at him in silence. I think we are ready to enter the Chinese market. Already? Woosung nodded. Smartphone industry would explode soon and China was a big market he couldn't lose. Yes, and I need to appoint someone to lead this project. We must start the investment process and create a messenger company in China. Jang Guangchul's eyes widened. We are getting busier with the mobile carrier business, yet you want to add more work. Woosung looked at Hong Soo-bum for help. What do you think, Vice President Hong? At the promoted title of Vice President, both Jang Guangchul and Hong Soo-bum looked at Woosung in surprise. Woosung continued. The business in the US is settling down nicely. Based on how well it did in America, we know Blue S will do well in Korea too. Besides, we are done with PC, Android, and iPhone versions of the app, so it's time to begin a new project. Hong Soo-bum. Woosung knew he was a talented developer and a savvy businessman. Woosung knew Hong Soo-bum was the best person for the job. Hong Soo-bum asked nervously. China, you want me to take care of the Chinese project? As you must have already known, the Chinese population is huge. Everyone knows it is the sleeping dragon of Asia. Don't you want to be a part of this life-changing project? Hong Soo-bum listened with thorough thoughts. Woosung continued. And of course, I won't let you do it all by yourself. I will be there with you the whole way. I just need you to be the main point of contact. Woosung was very convincing. Jang Guangchul began to be jealous. President Kang, are you keeping me out of such an important project? It's not like that. Then when are we going to China? After we are done with the preparations. We will create a company, localize the messenger, and hire appropriate people. I need someone to take care of these things. When Woosung turned to Hong Soo-bum, he nodded. After the conversation, Jang Guangchul took Woosung to a private room. I got a call from Usona's management company. Her CEO would like to meet with us. Usona. She was a member of a new idol group 13. This set Woosung's interest in hiring her as the next celebrity for the one-on-one talk event with the fans. Woosung asked. What do you think? I've heard some rumors about her. I don't think it's a good idea. What kind of rumors? Jang Guangchul whispered, I heard she does sexual favors for her career advancement. Suddenly, the name Daeyoung entered Woosung's mind. She was part of a TV commercial for Daeyoung System after all. Jang Guangchul continued, I don't think it's a good idea, but if you insist. Jang Guangchul clearly didn't like the idea, but Woosung felt differently. He had a distinct feeling that he had to meet her. I think we should have a dinner with them at least. Jang Guangchul looked at him disappointedly, but Woosung continued quickly. Don't worry. I will be smart about it. Woosung arranged a meeting with Usona and her manager. Her CEO wasn't joining them, which worried Jang Guangchul. The manager stayed behind and Woosung met with Usona in private. Cosmetics envelopes her face and she donned an alluring outfit. I'll do anything you want me to do. She said it forcefully. It was clear that she didn't want to be here, but her eyes were determined. She wanted to be successful, and if this was the way to do it, she was ready for it. Woosung said calmly, "Shall we have dinner first?" Yusona asked, "Is this going to take a long time?" Woosung started to cut into his steak and replied, "You are in a hurry. So you're saying you want to take your time with me?" Yusona picked up her utensils as well and started to enjoy her steak. Woosung asked, "Aren't you afraid?" "The only thing I'm afraid of is being broke in the dirt." Her hands were shaking. Contrary to her confident voice, she was clearly nervous. Woosung pretended not to see it and asked, "I like it rough. I am used to it." Woosung thought of Choi Taemin and asked, "Daeyoung?" Cough. Yusona coughed in surprise. Woosung handed her a napkin and continued asking, "Don't you want revenge?" "Pardon?" Why don't you have a drink first?" Instead of the cup Woosung handed, Yusona picked the glass of wine and gulped it down. "You like making fun of girls, is that it? Then I will play your game." She was only 20, but the way her actions told Woosung she went through a lot in her life. She was filled with fury and determination. Woosung said to her, "My hobby is to make money. I plan on being the richest person in Korea." Yusona murmured cynically, "Me too." "Great. We have something in common." Yusona licked her lips and asked, "I think we had enough talk. Let's just get it over with." "I'm afraid I can't." "Pardon?" "As you must have already noticed, anything that happens here needs to be confidential." Yusona looked at him nervously. What was he going to do to her? What kind of weirdo was he? As Yusona paled, Woosung smiled. "Have a seat." She was frightened. This situation was unfamiliar to her. Yusona knew someone who smiled like Woosung was someone to fear. She tried to look calm, but her hands were trembling uncontrollably. Woosung continued quickly, "I need you to tell me what happened at Daeyoung." Yusona's eyes widened, but she nodded. As she told her story, Woosung realized that it was worse than he expected. Yusona entered the car. The manager, who was taking a nap, woke up. "Oh, you're back." He checked the clock. It wasn't even 2 in the morning. It was different than her other clients before, but he didn't say anything about it. He checked her through the back mirror and noticed Yusona's appearance was exactly the same as when she left the car earlier. Her makeup was intact and her hair was dry. The only difference was that her mascara was smudged. She must have cried. He asked her quietly, "Are you okay?" Yusona answered abruptly, "Yes." She closed her eyes. "All right. Then we'll head home." They drove away and Woosung looked at the car through the window of his room. Yusona. The ordeal she went through was painful. Damn it. It was an unpleasant experience to see a woman cry, but Woosung managed to get the information he wanted. He wanted some dirt about Choi Taemin. As Woosung expected, he was a cruel bastard. Woosung remote accessed his home computer and started to record what he learned today. The next day, Yusona woke up early in the morning and got into her car where her CEO was waiting. "You must have done great with KND's president last night. He hired you to model for the KND's TV commercial. $1 million for a 1-year contract." Yusona flinched. "I didn't do anything special. If you keep this up, you should be able to pay your family's debt back by the end of this year." "It's all thanks to you, sir." "No, it's all you, Sona. I told you, I will make you famous. We will go to the shop now." The manager informed them as he started the car. The CEO continued, "I know this may not be the nicest way, but this is how the real world works. If you want to make it fast, you need to do whatever it takes." "I know. Just please make sure you pay me my share." "Haha, of course. You are the jewel of my company, so I will take good care of you." Yusona closed her eyes and thought about what happened last night. Why did I do that? While she told her story, she started to cry. She cried in front of a complete stranger. Strangely, the man seemed to give off a genuine form of concern. He handed her a napkin, and he consoled her. I should get you something good to eat. You look tired and your skin looks rough. The CEO yelled at the manager, you need to take better care of our star. You're her manager. I'm sorry. Fine. Now, Sona, we got a possible contract from Dongnam Pharmaceutical Company. They think you may be the right person for their TV commercial for a vitamin drink. The only thing is that its chairman is old, and he likes things in a certain way. Sona knew what he meant. She answered quickly, I'll do it. If she wasn't in this profession, she would have ended up in a brothel. She kept reminding herself this was what she wanted and it was better than the alternative. She closed her eyes tightly. The CEO smiled and continued through the day with an ecstatic grin. Jang Guangchul asked worriedly, are you sure nothing happened? I can trust you. Yes. I'm telling you the truth. Do you really think I would take advantage of a young girl? I just talked to her, that's all. I trust you as a person, but I'm not so sure about you as a man. Gosh. I'm telling you the truth. But that's odd too. What? You are a healthy 27-year-old man, yet you don't have a girlfriend, and you don't sleep around. You just work. That's really odd. Jang Guangchul continued quickly. Men want to make money so we can use it, especially to get women. That's what normal men do. Yesterday was a perfect opportunity for you. I'm not like that. I'm a businessman. But unless you are a monk, Jang Guangchul murmured quietly. Are you by chance suffering from erectile dysfunction? Yes, that's correct. Jang Guangchul's eyes widened. What? I think it's something to do with my mental health. I just can't do it. Oh, then let's get you a doctor. I know someone very good. You should have told me so I can get help for you. I'm fine. It's getting better slowly. Jang Guangchul looked at Woosung sympathetically. Are you seeing a doctor? If not, you must. I'll take you. Woosung stood up. I have a few businesses to take care of outside of the office. I'll see you later. Jang Guangchul's eyes welled up. Just let me know if you need any help, okay? We can even go abroad for treatments. Alright. Just go. Woosung picked up his laptop bag and left. He arrived at Young Jinsup's game company. When Woosung entered the headquarters, some people looked at him and murmured among themselves. They seemed like they recognized him. He was on TV after all when he publicly announced that his company would take over Teltech. I must be famous now. Just then, Young Jinsup came down to meet him. Oh, you're here. Woosung bowed. Nice place here. Young Jinsup poked Woosung in the waist and joked. We are leasing this space, but I hear you own your own building. Yes, but I'm not sure if that was the right decision. It's in a good area, so of course that was the right choice. Anyway, let's go up. Every game user's actions were recorded in the database. Item purchases. Movement between the towns. Monster hunting. Item usages. Every move was logged. Woosung analyzed the data Young Jinsup gave him and found about 20 IDs with abnormal activities. After a few days of monitoring, it was revealed that 17 of these IDs were involved in illegal actions including copying items and using internal bugs to play unfairly. Oh Min-jae, who was the chief of the OS team, listened intensely to Woosung. I used the STL analysis. With this method, I picked out the unusual IDs that were bug users. STL analysis. It was short for seasonal and trend decomposition using LUS. Could you explain in more details? Like what equations you used, what kind of filters you used for the raw data, and so on. Woosung replied, I can't tell you everything, but basically, I used STL analysis, reminder, and jitter detections to find these IDs. If I had more time, I could probably do better. Young Jin-sup listened in awe. He thought Woosung was just a clever businessman, but he was clearly more than that. Oh, Min-jae asked in awe, it's already at 85%. I can make it to 90% in no time. It could be even better, but that would take a while. Oh, Min-jae turned to Young Jin-sup and nodded. Then we have no reason not to use his system. Bug users. Or nuclear users. They were those who abused the game. In 2018, they were eliminated by an internal analyst team, but this was 2009. It was less sophisticated now. Many CS agents were hired to monitor these users manually. Young Jin-sup smiled proudly. We'll be able to cut down on CS employees. Oh, Min-jae agreed, we won't know for sure till we implement it, but I think you're right. Woosung replied, I'm glad to be of help. Well, now we come to the matter of fees. Of course I won't charge you a lot, sir. I will send the estimate to Oh Min-jae, and it will be a fair number. Oh, and I can also analyze the customer satisfaction level. Would you be interested? If you are, you'll have to provide us with more of your data. Young Jin-sup nodded. There was no reason not to trust Woosung. After a drink with Young Jin-sup, Woosung came back home and logged on to Young Jin-sup's company's game Legend. It was one of the most popular games in Korea with over 300,000 users and sales of over $1 billion. There were over 30 servers available. Woosung created a character for each server and formed a guild. There is nothing you can't do with money. He hired a substitute gamer and got all the characters to reach level 90. He also owned a few castles in several servers. Now, let's see if I can cause inflation within the game. As a castle owner in the game, he could control the prices of items in the castle. He set the prices and the taxes at their highest level. Kim Yong-gun enjoyed playing games after he got off work. Legend was his favorite. As soon as he logged in, a pop-up came up. Every user in this castle will have to pay 20% more for all items. Kim Yong-gun's character was currently in a castle named Aaron. Aaron Castle was considered a popular place in the game because it was surrounded by many good hunting grounds. In the game, it cost 10 cents to buy 100 gold. An increase of 20% was very upsetting. He chatted with other users about this matter. The other gamers living in other castles were having similar problems. There is an increase of 25% in Dragon Castle. It's 15% up in Noah Castle. It had become known that 5 castles all had increases in prices. MOX's CEO Young Hyesung was in a good mood. He received a report that morning from the strategy department. This month's sales for Legend has increased 10% and 20% for Legend 2. And the reason is? It's thanks to Managing Director Young's quality improvement project. Huh, so it's Jinsup's work. That's my boy. He's smart like me. Huh, I agree. But he's still very young. I hope you take good care of him, Chief Choi. Of course. The chief of the strategy department left the room and returned to his chair. His assistant came up to him and asked. Are you sure we don't have to report this? It's fine. I'll take care of it. It will blow over soon. Guilds fight each other all the time. But it's different this time. It's strange. There has never been a time when so many guilds increased the prices all at once. You are still new here, so you don't understand. It happened before. Do you not know of Nut's Liberation War incident? Nut's Liberation War. It was a famous incident that happened in 2005 inside Legend. A particular guild's tyranny was so horrible many users including those from different servers fought to get rid of it. The assistant answered in frustration, I have been playing Legend for the past 5 years and that was an exception. The chief continued quickly, besides, all the involved castles are owned by different guilds anyway. They will fight for a while, and things will settle down. He waved his hand to dismiss his assistant, who still remained wary. This was happening in too many servers. Out of 32 servers, 16 of them were involved so far. 21 years old. Go Jongsu was a game addict whose job was a professional gamer for hire. He logged on to the 21st server R-line as the character named K9. K9's current level was 95. There were 3 substitute gamers hired for this character. They worked 8-hour shift to boost this character every day. Within only a few months, it became one of the top 10 characters within the game. Go Jongsu sent a message to all of the guild members. Guild members. Are you ready for the siege? Ready. 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 They were about to go to war to take over a castle. This wasn't just a game for many. By becoming a castle owner, they could tax other traveling characters for game gold. They could then sell these golds online. Essentially, they could make real money. 10,000 golds equaled $10. Go Jongsu checked his weapons and announced. Then, let's begin. He moved his character to the designated area and the other characters followed his lead. We begin. Whichever side surrounds the castle flag will become the winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After the countdown, the war began. Go Jongsu had the best weapons money could buy. There was no way his side could lose. When Woosung logged on to Legend, he noted that all of his characters leveled up significantly. K9 95 LV. Gauzer 94 LV. Daeyong Mania 96 LV. Blue Red 93 LV. Most characters were over level 90 and their weapons and items were of highest quality and power. Woosung had the best characters in the game. When he logged on to the server R-line, a pop-up came up. Do you agree to be the new owner of this castle? Yes. Woosung's character appeared on the screen with a crown on top of his head. Woosung smiled in satisfaction and continued on with the other characters in other servers. When Woosung met Young Jin Sup, he thought hard to come up with the best way to get back at him. In the end, Woosung decided he could use the game to destroy him. He planned to become the tyrant over all the servers and drive all the other users out of the game. He had more than enough money to make it happen. He hired several professional gamers so it could not be traced back to him. He checked his game account balance. 6.7 M gold. This meant he could exchange it for $67,000. This was the money he earned as a multi-castle owner. Well, I spent about $100,000 on this game, so at least I am getting close to evening out. Woosung closed the game and opened the Bitcoin server. The speed of mining decreased significantly. He was getting only about 7 Bitcoins per server every day. But he already had enough Bitcoins. In 3 months, a miner in the US will purchase 1309 Bitcoins for $1. Woosung planned to buy them himself if possible. After work, Kim Yong-gun returned home and connected to Legend. He was still angry about the increase in tax within the game. He checked the game chat room to read what other gamers thought. What is Legend GM doing? I hate this game now. Things happen fair and square, so stop complaining. Different gamers felt differently about what was happening in the game. Kim Yong-gun collected the data and analyzed them to calculate the average increase in taxes within the group. Out of 32 servers, 25 increased their taxes an average of 20%. All within the last 2 months. However, all the guilds and characters of these servers had different names. It was strange. He has been playing for many years and this never happened before. The data looked too clean and organized. Because it looked too perfect, Kim Yong-gun started to suspect someone was behind it. It's just too weird. Within the last 2 months, 25 servers' castle owners changed. Each has a different guild. This has never happened before as far as I can remember. After much thinking, Kim Yong-gun closed his computer and laid down on his bed. Gosh, I'm getting a headache. He was so tired from work he didn't have the energy to play games nowadays. He figured he should just wait for this situation to pass. He thought things would settle eventually, and he would start playing again then. Many other gamers were feeling the same way. A gamer logged on to the 26th server queued as the Castle Lindsay's owner, Red Bat. Suddenly, a notice popped up. June 24, 2009, 14:45. You have been confirmed to be an illegal bug user. Your account has been suspended. If you have any questions, please contact the customer service center. He read it and reread it, becoming angry. Damn it. Damn it. His friend sent him a link recently that could help him with the game. When he saw it, he suspected it to be a bug, but he used it anyway. He only used it once though, so he couldn't understand how he was caught. Especially now when he was just about to take over a castle. A similar thing happened to Jo Young-min, who was playing at the 27th server Chestnuts. You have been confirmed to be an illegal bug user. Your account has been suspended. If you have any questions, please contact the customer service center. Damn it. This isn't fair. His character was at level 95. He slept only 4 hours every day to get this far. He was addicted to the game. Jo Young-min was furious. All the time and effort he spent turned to nothing. It didn't matter if he used an illegal bug. Perhaps he did in the past, but he couldn't really remember anymore. However, he was sure he wasn't the only one who used this bug. Everyone used it. He became resentful. He felt like he was the victim. This was the worst timing. He recently became a castle owner and was just about to earn real money. Why did it have to happen now? Jo Young-min called the customer service right away. There were two types of gamers. Hard user. Light user. Woosung used the data Young-jin Sup provided to filter out the illegal gamers, especially the ones he needed to leave so it could be easier for his characters to thrive. Many were hard users, and once they were booted out from the game, it was easier for Woosung to take over more castles. Finally, he was at the 32nd server named Latest. Inside, 4 out of 5 castles were already his. The only one left was named Aaron. Woosung logged in as a character named Wealthy Hunter. The name of his guild was Riot. Woosung uploaded a message for all. The riot begins now. Woosung's character started to move with his weapon. The other guild members followed him. When they reached the front of the castle, the countdown began. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first move was by the existing castle owner with his followers. He had a strong character, but Woosung had a secret weapon. He possessed a chrono sword, which caused 4 times the damage as any other swords in the game. It was worth over $20,000. It was a massacre. No one could stop Woosung. The Aaron's existing guild was strong, but it was no match for Woosung. Finally at 3 a.m. Woosung won the castle. He clicked the button Accept to be the new castle owner. MOX's strategy development team chief Choi Gillick looked at the report with a frown. There is a 3% decline from last month. Really? Yes, and we are only 2 weeks into this month. It's because of so many members leaving the game. I don't understand, the reviews we have been getting so far were positive. Gamers have been complimenting how we got rid of all the illegal bug users. So why are we losing customers? Did you have a look at the customer type graph I created? Choi Gillick nodded. Hard user 10%. Light user 90%. Majority of the light users are in their teens and early 20s. Choi Gillick remained silent. He could guess what his assistant was about to say. Because of the increase in taxes and item prices, the young users with no money are leaving. We need to stop this before it becomes too late. Did you call the guild chapter? I couldn't get through. How about suspending the responsible accounts? We don't have a legal reason to do so. If these tyrants became successful this fast, they must have used a bug. Our team checked it and they were all clean. Choi Gillick sighed. Something bad was brewing. He could feel it. It was worse than how it appears because this was happening to both Legend 1 and 2, which made up 80% of the entire company. MOX's fate depended on these games. Choi Gillick answered. Fine. I'll take care of it. Choi Gillick stood up and went to the development general manager. I think we need to move the characters. Are you talking about the increase in the taxes in some castles? That's not something new. Our sales are going to be down significantly this month, and I'm sure it will happen next month too. We need to take over a few castles and stabilize the situation right now. But we can't just interfere willy-nilly. If we use our master account and the users find out, we'd be in trouble. Choi Gillick replied. But the sales. We have no choice. We need to be proactive about this. There must be another way. This is an emergency. Choi Gillick sighed in frustration. He turned around and replied, fine. We'll wait on it for a while, but you may be making a huge mistake. That same day, MOX's stock price declined to $50.40, $1 lower than the previous day. The next day, MOX's stock weakened further. Its internal problems with the games weren't public knowledge, yet the shareholders were selling their stocks. It was because of those with insider information. Woosung was buying the stocks little by little so that it goes unnoticed. The problem is the 5% rule. 5%. If an individual or a company bought over 5% of a particular company, it had to be disclosed. If Woosung's name was mentioned, it would be an issue. Woosung thought of Jang Guangchul. MOX's stock would decline further. In his previous life, however, things happened very differently. MOX released an FPS game in China, which garnered huge success. The mobile version of Legend was also a hit, and MOX became a $20 billion company. So what I need to do is to buy as many stocks as possible now so I can take over the company, then develop the games that are popular in 2018. This way, he could accomplish his revenge and make a huge business profit. Woosung called for Jang Guangchul and explained his plan of adding a gaming component to the Coconut Talk. Jang Guangchul replied, so this will be profitable for the company? And we need to make our games too? Well, to be honest, I would like to do this as my personal project. But you would like to buy the stocks under someone else's name? Yes. I will take over MOX and use it as our own game development department. How much is the company worth now? As of yesterday, it's $3.2 billion. So if you only bought half of it, it would still cost you $1.6 billion. For now. What? The stock price will continue to decline. To Woosung's confident prediction, Jang Guangchul asked, you are hiding something from me, aren't you? You already spent so much money on taking over Teltech and preparing for the mobile carrier business. Now, you are saying you have enough money to buy MOX? Jang Guangchul took a deep breath and continued. Even if MOX's stock price goes down, it will still cost hundreds of millions of dollars. You're saying you have that much money? We'll make money with Coconut very soon. Blue S's sales are also increasing quickly. I can also sell a small share of KND if necessary to raise funds. Jang Guangchul didn't buy Woosung's explanation. This was reasonable since Woosung did have another secret. He was waiting for the new flu, H1N1. Then in November, there would be the Dubai shock. Woosung knew there were more future events coming up for him to make money. Jang Guangchul looked at Woosung and asked, no, you are lying to me. Look at my eyes and tell me the truth. Woosung stared at him and replied, why aren't you asking me why I want to use someone else's name for the stock purchase? Isn't that a more important question? I assumed you must have a good reason for it. Then, what about this? The answer you are looking for is actually within the assumption you just mentioned. If you don't want to tell me, just say so. Do you remember what I said about my dreams? Jiang Guangchul nodded slowly. Woosung continued, I can see many different things in my dreams. Sometimes I can see opportunities to make money. That's why I am confident about my plan. Is there anything you can tell me? Do you know what H1N1 is? Jiang Guangchul remembered hearing about it on the news, but only vaguely. It wouldn't hit the headlines until the end of July. We will soon be facing a pandemic flu. The entire world will fear it. It will be a great chance to make some money. Big events caused volatility in the stock market. I am still not sure how to go about it, but I'm working on it. Oh, and remember, this is a secret. Jiang Guangchul nodded firmly and replied, and as for using someone else's name, I know someone who might be able to help you. Let me look into it. Woosung nodded. After Jiang Guangchul left the room, Woosung remote accessed his home computer and opened a file with information on his previous life. There were 2 more big events left this year. H1N1. Dubai shock in November. Dubai World asks for a debt standstill. It asks the creditors for a 6-month standstill on its debt repayment. Woosung remembered the Kospi index going down over 1% due to this incident. This was his chance. The first death from H1N1 in Korea has been recorded. The health authorities have warned the public to avoid heavily crowded areas including restaurants and public bathhouses. They are also recommending washing your hands as often as possible. Currently, tens of thousands of people are suffering from H1N1 in the world. Unlike other countries, however, the Korean government is showing an unprepared and uncaring attitude towards its people. Young Jinchul, an owner of a new internet cafe, turned off the TV. He just opened this new business recently, but because of H1N1 scare, it was empty. He was losing money every day. He sighed. Restaurants. Internet cafes. Malls. Grocery stores. The streets were empty. After work, people went straight home and many spent a lot of time playing games. The game industry boomed, except for Legend. Choi Gillick became more nervous. The other game companies are gaining more users, but we are still losing customers. The general manager was aware of this problem. Are you saying it's time for us to act on it? The new guilds are invincible. I used my personal guilds to fight and take over the castles, but it was impossible. The balance within the game has been destroyed. Choi Gillick was again asking to use the master account. The master account was created and owned by MOX. It could bend the rules within the game to get whatever outcome it wanted. There was no way anyone could win against the master account character. I believe this is the only way to restore the balance in the game. Fine. Let's try it in a couple of servers. Choi Gillick nodded. Woosung's phone vibrated with a message. You have lost the 27th server Aaron Castle. Woosung looked at it in surprise. This was unexpected. He has been the owner of this castle for the past month and no one managed to win against his character. Master Knight? It was a nickname he has never seen before. Woosung checked the data Young Jin Sup gave him, but while he checked the database, Woosung found something strange. Huh. It looked like Master Knight seemed to have unusual items and abilities that went against the game logistics. This was not possible. This meant one of 2 things. There was an error or the character was owned by a hacker or a bug user. Woosung analyzed the character, its items, and its past activities. This doesn't make sense. There is no record of this character until now. Woosung was now sure that it was a hacker. Did I just get hacked? Or the game got hacked? But it still didn't make sense. Woosung studied the character further. After 2 hours of it, Woosung decided, this isn't from hacking or any kind of bugs. Woosung swallowed nervously. This situation reminded him of the time when he was murdered. Company interference. Woosung's death started when he found out about strange transactions with certain IP addresses. He initially thought the company was hacked, but it was the company itself that was behind the illegal activities. This was the same situation. MOX developed the character and interfered with the game from the inside. Bastards. Unfortunately, he couldn't use this information. He couldn't release this information to the public without revealing himself too, at least not at this point. Instead, Woosung contacted his substitute gamers. Take over the 27th server Aaron Castle immediately. Hire more gamers for this and make sure to destroy Master Knight. I don't care how much money it costs. Make sure to record the takeover. The gamers responded quickly. Woosung was furious, but he was also excited. This was his chance to bring MOX down to its knees. Woosung's hired gamers with a minimum of level 80 characters lined up for an attack. The first thing they all did was PK, player killing. They went around the castle killing many of Master Knight's Guild Masterpiece's members as possible. One by one, the Masterpiece members left the game. I can't play this game anymore. The Riot Guild's members are hunting us down. I am done with this game. Peace out. I'm leaving too. Eventually, only half of Masterpiece's members remained. Meanwhile, Woosung hired more people to become members of his own guild, Riot. Choi Gillick couldn't believe what was happening. He tried to manipulate the game further with the master account, but he was stopped by the general manager. You need to stop now. If you go on any further, we may be discovered by the public. But we only won one castle out of it. What? How many times do I have to explain? I am so frustrated. I know you said it's because of the young gamers leaving Legend. I get it, but what we need to do to fix it is to make the game more fun for them. Why are you getting angry at me? Why won't you support me? We are working for the same company. Exactly. We are in the same team, and you need to do a better job in the development department. Choi Gillick reddened in anger. If we don't lower the taxes in these castles, this company is over. It's not just Legend 1. Similar things are happening in the second version too. This isn't a simple matter to be settled among the users. If this continues any longer, we could all lose our jobs. This was turning into a serious argument. The general manager tried to avoid it by replying in a calm manner. I understand. I will try my best to come up with a solution. You better get to it fast. While the country panicked because of H1N1, Woosung bought and sold healthcare stocks to make money. Unfortunately, he wasn't making big profits. The volumes of these stocks were too small. Woosung wanted to invest millions at a time, but all he could purchase was hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stocks. However, it was different in the US. There were plenty of pharmaceutical company stocks with big volumes. Woosung took long positions in many companies, especially Pfizer. Pfizer stock was only about $14 in July, but by September, it went up to $16. Woosung earned a lot of money from this purchase, but he was still not satisfied. He obtained about $600 million, but Woosung's definition of big money was in the billions. He made back all the money he spent taking over Teltech. When he purchased the company, he arranged it so that KND borrowed money from him. The interest rate he set was 7%, which meant every year, he received $42 million from his own company to his personal account as a form of interest payment. Woosung also had numerous other incomes including interest rates from his bank, stock dividends, bitcoins, and his salary as the CEO. However, this was all still not enough. Woosung checked the MOX stock price. It was continuing to decline as he hoped. $37.10. $37.05. He ordered his US company to take a fake short sale position on MOX stock to make it go down further. $36.50. Once it went down, he cancelled the sale order. Suddenly, a text message arrived. I've uploaded the analysis report. The fight against the Master Knight was recorded and sent to the professional gamers for analysis. They all agreed on one thing. The game was manipulated. Woosung managed to find out from where the character was being played. The IP address indicated that it was from the MOX headquarters. It wasn't a hacker, it was the company itself. The report was published online where Legend users and other gamers could see. This doesn't make sense. Have you ever seen the items like that before in the game? How could that character cause so much more damages than any others I have seen? The internet game forum became filled with curious comments. Everyone agreed on one thing: what the Master Knight did was not possible, which meant the game was hacked. Legend has been hacked. What the hell? Did the hacker take all the castles then? No one could even imagine the possibility of the company interfering. Then, an anonymous comment was made. I think I've seen this before. I think it might be the game company that manipulated the game. Is that possible? OMG, I can't believe it. We need to call the customer center. Let's go to the headquarters. We need to get them. People went furious. MOX was flooded with angry emails. The gaming communities were in an uproar. The news reached CS team leader Oh Min-jae. He asked the development team for an explanation. We are currently checking things out. He sent the same message many times, but every time he just got the same vague answer. In desperation, he arranged a meeting with Woosung, who gave his opinion. I can't be certain of whether it is the bug or the company, but the rumors on the internet seemed legit. Woosung has gained Oh Min-jae's trust within last few weeks, so Oh Min-jae nodded. It would be faster if you talk to your development team. That department is going through an issue right now. Woosung knew what he meant. Only a few in the company knew of the master account and its activities, and clearly, Oh Min-jae wasn't one of them. Suddenly, Young Jin-sup walked in. Chief Oh, what are you doing? Oh Min-jae looked at Young Jin-sup in confusion. Young Jin-sup yelled again, this isn't the time to have stupid meetings. His face was red. Oh Min-jae stood up as Young Jin-sup continued. Several players barged into the headquarters demanding an explanation. Take care of them. Now. Oh Min-jae left in shock. Young Jin-sup calmed down and sat beside Woosung. As you know, things aren't going well in the company right now. Someone is messing with us. Woosung murmured, you mean the character that is either being controlled by a hacker or the company? Young Jin-sup flinched and asked, yes, that's it. Do you know what is happening? Actually, this meeting was about that, and I couldn't come up with anything solid. I'm guessing it's a hacker. Young Jin-sup sighed in relief, really? Thank God. And thank you. No problem. You look like you had a rough day. Would you like to go for a drink? I will take you somewhere nice. Young Jin-sup's eyes lit up. Woosung continued, I found a place with some gorgeous ladies. Let's go. At an expensive brothel in Cheongdamdong, Young Jin-sup drank heavily. Woosung asked, you look like you have a lot of worries. Young Jin-sup took another sip and answered, sales have gone down significantly. Stock prices too. It also looks like someone's collecting our stocks. Really? It looks like a foreign hedge fund, but we can't tell why it's doing it. Oh. Woosung was surprised at how much MOX knew of the situation. Young Jin-sup suddenly asked, are you interested in games by chance? Pardon? If KND could invest in our company, that would be a big help. When Young Jin-sup hesitated, Woosung urged him, you can tell me anything. We are developing a new game right now, and an investment from your company would be a huge help. You know MOX is a solid company. The stock price will rise soon and it will be very profitable for you. Woosung frowned and thought. They should have had enough funds to last a while and release FPS game next year. What happened? Did they lose that much money from this controversy? Because of Woosung, MoX lost many users. It tried to revive the game by spending a lot of money on marketing, but it failed again. When Woosung hesitated, Young Jin Sup said disappointedly, "How could you not say yes immediately? Then, how about this? I will lend you the money with your share of the company as collateral. Interest will be 1%, but if the stock price goes down, the total credit will go down too. And if it goes up? Then you will have enough money to pay me back and take back your shares. Remember that the interest rate of 1%. Think carefully. Do you know how many stocks I own? Based on my calculation, 15.5%, so about $42 million. Woosung tapped his head and continued, I'm an analyst, so of course, I should know these things. I will also buy some stocks for you too. This will make the stock prices go up, which means you'll make money and I will make money too. It's a win-win situation. Young Jin Sup licked his lips. He liked the idea. Woosung poured him another drink. Let's hope the stock price goes up. After drinking with Young Jin Sup, Woosung called Jang Guangchul. What percentage of stocks were you able to buy so far? Hey! It's 2 a.m. in the morning. But this is important. Tell me. I didn't have a lot of time, so only 10%. Fine. Keep going. After the call, Woosung leaned back in his new car. He gave the car Jang Guangchul gave him to his parents. Then, he got a new company car for himself. Mercedes Maybach line. It was worth $800,000. It was more than a car. It felt so comfortable. Woosung didn't feel like he was riding one.